Here's JB Biunno.
Deja vu all over again. No trial start date in the Idaho murders as Bryan Kohberger's defense argues for a change of venue hearing for May 14th. We're live here in the Stream Center to not just break down what we have learned, but to answer your questions live. We have a new poll coming your way as well. Again, here with Garrett Phillips, WFLA.com digital producer. I'm JB Biunno. Garrett, we've learned a lot over the last, last hour and 17 or so minutes with this hearing. The alibi statute discussion was absolutely fascinating. And what the state is arguing, and the state is expressing great frustration over, is that they do not have a formal written alibi from Bryan Kohberger, anything more than just that he was driving around the night of the murders, or really the overnight hours in which the murder occurs. They were arguing for a 10-day deadline to be enforced for the alibi to be presented. Defense attorney Ann Taylor then saying that she needs more. I mean, really, if she had one argument that she stated repeatedly over the course of this hearing and the previous one, it's very simple. She is saying that she still does not have enough through the discovery process to formulate a proper defense, and now, in her opinion, to formulate an alibi, an effective alibi for Bryan Kohberger. Then, of course, the state harking back, saying, well, you should have what you need given the circumstances to formulate your alibi, and so confusion there. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, April 17th, Garrett, was the deadline set for enough materials to be given from one side or the other so that Bryan Kohberger's alibi can be formally presented from the defense over to the prosecution. Hello there to you again.
Hey, yeah, that is correct. It looks like, from what I could tell here, as you mentioned, the defense was saying that the 10-day alibi time limit was basically waived whenever the court waived some previous, I don't know enough legal mumbo jumbo to know exactly what that means, but yeah. Looking here at Idaho legislator, it does say that within 10 days or at such different time as the court may direct, the prosecution does have to receive the notice of the intent to offer defense of alibi. That notice would have to include specific place or places at which the defendant claims to have been at the time of the alleged offense, and the names and addresses of the witnesses upon whom he or she intends to rely to establish such alibi.
It's interesting. Alibi is so crucial to a case. For those of you unaware of really what an alibi is, it's basically stating to your accuser as to what you were doing instead of committing the crime. I mean, that's basically the lame term language that I could present as to what an alibi is. Alibis are so crucial to a case because if you weren't committing the crime that you're accused of, what were you doing? And we've been, of course, led to believe at this point that Bryan Kohberger was just, driving around. And that's why he pinged on the cell phone towers that he did. Now, we, of course, at great length on previous streams, we have gone over exactly, the cell phone tower information that was listed in the arrest affidavit, and how, of course, there was that dark period where in the overnight hours where his cell phone was deactivated, but that he did ping off of a cell tower in Moscow. And then he, according to the arrest affidavit, again, per the arrest affidavit, he then, the cell phone towers pinged him again. He returned to the scene of the crime around, I believe, the 9 a.m. hour. So there was that time in the overnight hours where things were turned off. There was pings, but because, of course, of him turning off his cell phone, there is a limited amount of cell phone data. So the back and forth exchange there is really quite fascinating. But bottom line is that we still do not have a trial start date.